So let's talk about fights. It's getting really, really hard to do or say much of anything that doesn't make somebody really, really, really angry. And you've probably noticed it's wearing thin on a lot of people. And a lot of people wonder, how am I supposed to even act anymore? I mean, do I just walk around on eggshells like for the rest of my life? And, you know, when somebody comes at you and is nasty, maybe they don't, come at you with a fist fight, but they say nasty stuff to you in text messaging. They put cryptic posts up, and it's about you. And how am I supposed to react to that in a sane way? And for most of us, our power just goes to all shields, and we're looking for a way to make sure that everybody knows somehow we have defeated this person. We're not as dumb as they say. We're not as bad as they say. We're nothing like what they say. And the win is going to come if we can just crush them somehow. Do I humiliate them? Are they even worth a reply? Do I frustrate them with no reply? And I don't know. I'm not everybody. That's definitely how I think about it naturally. And the thing is, we've been in this little series about Jesus and identity, and the way that Jesus describes the identity that we were created for is very, very different from the way the world has taught us. And he says this in so many ways, but in this one area, he talks about angry people who are offended with us. And he says the way that you've been taught is actually different than what good really looks like. And this is the area, he says, you've heard the people were told long ago, you've heard what was taught to them so long ago, that you shall not murder, and anybody that murders is subject to judgment. Basically, you're guilty. You are not good. You're evil. And he says, but I tell you, anyone who is angry with his brother is subject to judgment. Which already, wow, okay. How many times have I been angry with somebody because they were angry at me? And he goes on and he says, anybody who calls their brother or sister raka, which is basically just this, disgusting pile of garbage. Anybody who judges their brother or sister and calls them a pile of garbage, or he says anybody who calls them by fool is also guilty and faces judgment. They could face judgment. And it's really, really difficult for us to imagine why is he so serious about this? And the clue is in the fact that he calls these people who are angry with us brother or sister. So it's this subtle cue that in God's eyes, these people who are angry with us and want to say nastiness and judge us and hate us, they're actually brothers and sisters in his eyes. They're family. No matter what they do, no matter how wrong they are, they're still family. And so our number one responsibility is to make sure that we don't hate them. Like, right or wrong, we can't hate them. Not under this new identity that we're unlocking. And it's so serious, he goes on just another sentence or two, and he says this. He says, if any of you are presenting your gift at the altar, it was just a way they presented things to God to honor him and to glorify him. They were so used to this form of honoring God. He says, if anybody is bringing their gift to the altar, and then they remember when they're there that they have somebody out there who's offended with them, they should go out and try and reconcile things with that person first, and then come back. So in God's eyes, to honor him is to look at these people who may have something against you and question and ask yourself, hey, is there some part of this that's actually like legit? Is there something to this? And to just go out there and say, hey, is there even like 1% that may have been my fault? And that's really hard to do, because most of the time we look at people and we say, hey, 99% of this is really their fault. Maybe like 1% or less is really me. But even still, to come under that and say, you know what, maybe I ought to go and just find out if there's something. Maybe I ought to go out and just own that 1% and Let them deal with the 99%, but that 1% I've got to be willing to own. So as you look at this identity that Jesus has described, this salt, this light, this making things healthier, this helping people to see God, you have to ask yourself, number one, how do I see people? Do I see them as alien invaders? Do I see them as the enemy? Or do I see them the way God sees them, as a family, brothers, sisters, children with all their problems they may have? And are they willing to honor each other? And are they willing to humble themselves and attempt to own whatever it is they may actually be responsible for? That's hard, but it is our purpose. It's part of our identity. And so I'm just asking you to ask yourself these questions and give yourself and give God an honest answer. And the truth is, He will help you. This is not about becoming perfect. This is about being willing to ask for the help, to humble yourself and say, God, will you help me expand my view of who my brother and sister really is? Will you help me overcome my pride and tackle that 1%, or maybe it's 15%? But would you be willing?